Brock Purdy is one hit away from being this team's quarterback. And this is another reason why this is a big year for Kyle and this is why I was really initially happy that the Niners brought back Jimmy. I was conflicted about it. I didn't think it helped Trey, but given Kyle's propensity to get his quarterbacks hurt, you can't have Brock Purdy playing. That's how I feel. I know some people like Brock Purdy. I've been watching him a lot. I've been posting his warm-ups on YouTube. You can look for yourself, but to me, I've never seen a weaker arm in the NFL. I'm not trying to be mean to Brock. I'm not being snarky. I'm being serious. I've never seen a weaker arm, and I don't know why the Niners think he's an NFL quarterback. I see that he has decent athleticism, but it's not like you're going to run counter bash with him or anything like that. I mean, he's not running, and he might escape some pressure once or twice, but he has the weakest arm I've ever seen. His arm is way weaker than Nick Mullins. Let's just be honest. Like, at least with Nate Sudfeld, he has an arm. Not that it's great, but I don't see it with Brock Purdy. He was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason. He would not have been drafted if it weren't for the 49ers. He wouldn't be on a roster if it was for the 49ers. And if he has to start this year, they're going to lose. Here's what's going to happen. He's going to throw for like 300 yards because all of a sudden Kyle's going to be, calling just bombs away like he did with Nick Mullins to prove that his scheme is so great and that he can do it. So the numbers will look good. The yards will look good, but they'll lose and they'll lose and they'll lose. And he'll use the excuse, well, it's my backup quarterback. Well, that's who you wanted, man. Why are you the only coach in the league that thinks arm strength doesn't matter? Sorry, go ahead. Brock Purdy, your thoughts.
I don't know. A lot of people like him. I mean,
they do.
Larry on the show loves him.
He does. I'm sorry. I like Nick Mullins. I was wrong. Nick Mullins isn't winning you games if he has to play. He's not. Sorry. And neither is Brock. And neither was CJ.
If you think about it, and I know Tom Brady is the outlier, right? He was drafted in the 6th round, but 6th round isn't that far from Mr. Irrelevant. And not that you're not asking Brock Purdy to be Tom Brady, but it's not out of the question that if Tom Brady could be arguably the greatest quarterback of all time drafted in the 6th round, Nick Mullins could Brock Purdy could possibly be a decent backup as Mr. Irrelevant. So I know his arms. He might have
what is the decent backup? What is a decent backup? How would you define a decent backup?
A decent backup, a guy that can step in and win you some games.
That's not Brock Purdy. That's not Brock Purdy.
I don't know that we know that yet.
Well, I'm saying it. That's what I'm saying right now. I'm afraid. And if he has to play, we'll find out. But we're one hit away from the Brock Purdy experiment and seeing if they can win.
He quite honestly, Grant, he likely will probably have to play.
That's what I'm saying, and that's why I'm concerned about this team. So when the schedule came out and it was Trey, and I didn't think Jimmy was going to be here, I said 9 wins. Because Trey's going to miss 2 or 3 games, and they're not going to win any with Brock. Well, same thing applies. Now Jimmy's in, and he's probably going to miss 2 or 3 games because that's what always happens with Niner quarterbacks, Kyle quarterbacks. So Brock's going to have to start a few. Will they win any of those games? I don't know. Will they miss the playoffs because they went 0-3 with Brock Purdy? If so, man, I'm not saying that you can't draft a quarterback in the 7th round, but you drafted a guy with no traits. You liked him because he's a coach you like his makeup or whatever. You do this with you. Kyle has I've said he has a fetish for quarterbacks that have no traits. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. You get these offensive coordinators in training, but they're not players. I don't know, man. So I'm a little concerned about this team. I'm a little concerned about Kyle. If you miss the playoffs, it's probably going to be because Brock Purdy had to play and he wasn't good enough. Now maybe he is, and I'm wrong. I said it like it's a fact. You're right. We don't know that yet. I just have a bad feeling. I'm watching every day. I'm like, damn, man, you got nothing on those throws, dog. That's how I feel. I say it under my breath, dog. Nothing on those throws.
He can give him Purdy gimmies.
If you know that you're going to be running your quarterback, if you know that you've had a tough time keeping your quarterbacks healthy, and you don't really invest in pass protection, wouldn't back up when you want someone a little bit better? Why? Here's the thing. Okay, so Kyle's very critical of his quarterbacks, right? Trey, not good, not ready. Jimmy, I can't trust him to throw down the field. Brock Purdy, I love him.
Yeah.
Why? You're so critical of every quarterback, but Brock, you like that? I don't understand. That's what it's inconsistent to me about it. What do you like about him? Why? He likes these intangibles, man. He's all about the intangibles.
I think with Brock, you can run. He can definitely run more of the boot stuff and all that stuff. You can still run. You're not gonna run him like you ran Trey, but you can still run him. You can do some of that stuff.
You can execute Kyle's system because Kyle's system has evolved into running the ball and extended handoffs and the occasional slant. That's his system. He loves that. He's such a micromanager. He doesn't want the ball to go more than 10 yards down the field. So who cares about arm strength? Who cares? Honestly, I think Kyle likes the idea of a quarterback with no traits because if he does well, Kyle gets all the credit.
Then he gets
100% of the credit. How did you go for 350 yards through the air with that guy? Well, Kyle's a genius. Oh, there you go. So Brock Purdy he's a vehicle for Kyle's genius. And what's great is, he gets the yard and it's an offensive coordinator thing. Look, I got the yards with this guy. Yeah, but you lost. You freaking lost. And your job was to find a serviceable backup who could get you maybe 1 or 2 wins in a month. And you didn't. And the reason you were 8-30 or whatever without Jimmy is because you have these backups who aren't backups. They're not NFL quarterbacks.
I don't think, honestly, whether it's Jimmy, Lance, or Purdy or anything, I don't think the formula for winning really changes too much. I think you need to, number one, don't turn the ball over. And then you need to be able to create explosive plays. And that's what I thought Trey would do. But I think the number one thing is don't turn the ball over. And we've seen that stat before with Jimmy, right? Like his record when
Purdy. Here's what's going to happen. Kyle's going to be calling bombs away because it's his and Purdy's going to be throwing it down the field because he thinks he's good. And he's had nothing on the throw. You saw his interceptions in the preseason. Like they just hang in the ball. Sorry. That's what's going to happen. He's going to throw hella picks and lose. Sorry. Prove me wrong. I'm not even trying to get on Brock here. Like the only reason we're talking about Brock is because Kyle thinks he's an NFL quarterback. Otherwise, he'd just be on someone's practice squad. No one talk about it. He'd be Kurt Benkert. He'd be Kurt Benkert right now. But no, he's Brock Purdy because he got drafted by Kyle. Sorry. And if you like Brock, I'm not taking a shot at Larry. I just have a difference. I happen to disagree on one thing. Right. I think Larry's great, but we disagree about a quarterback. That's sports talk, baby. Robert David says everyone needs to chill. Trey is still the future. Is he? I'd like to ask Kyle. Will he answer that question? Is Trey still your starter next year?
That's TBD, right? Like, what if Jimmy does win the Super Bowl?
Also, Kyle felt that the best way to use Trey was running him up the middle. I don't think you can do that anymore. So, does he want him still? I don't know. You're not going to. You think he's going to call counter bash next year? Bet he doesn't. If he does, wow, that would be great. That would be amazing.